That is so damn embarrassing. Oh my God. All right. So I can't believe that I had my mic off. All right. Well, all right. You know what? I'm done for tonight. I don't even want to do this no more. I was dropping gold too. Oh, all right. I'm gonna go back and share this. Blah blah blah. Real estate after dark. Welcome. I do this so that people, can come on here and ask their questions, and we're so yeah. So people are able to come on and ask their questions, and I'm able to coordinate answers and all this, and really just be the most effective rather than getting a bunch of calls and texts during the day. So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. Let's talk. And for all the people saying audio isn't coming through, no sound, there we go. Sort of, you know what? Thank you all. I appreciate it. And damn. All right. Anyway, all that saying, let's drop comments, questions in chat. Let's answer questions and solve problems. Now, I'm just going to go back to what I was talking about. I wanted to discuss this last. We kind of got sidetracked with some things and talked about some, so I didn't quite get to fit this in. One of the big parts about selling this package that I sold, we actually closed on it last week. It was about a month and a half due diligence. There's some certain nuances to selling a package of properties. And I think that a lot of people they think, oh, well, if the numbers, pencil out, then somebody's going to buy it. And that's really the crux of it. But it's about the package in front of the right people that are going to have the funds. So all that to say, we go there, we get it going, and we're going through the process. This buyer, although it was a cash purchase, they were using self-directed IRA funds. One of the challenges with that is that they had to create the LLC, they had to put the funds into the self-directed IRA, and then close and then fund the deal. A lot of this buyer has been fantastic through the process, and the challenge that they ran into was their IRA, their self-directed IRA company, well, and the attorneys and everybody else getting involved and not really coordinating what needed to be done. So we did what's called a dry closing in real estate. And a dry closing means that the documents are all signed, we're just waiting for that money back. Well, money didn't show up. The next day, the money didn't show up, and it was almost a week later. We ended up having to re-sign, well, the seller and the buyer had to re-sign their documents. We were able to close. But the large part of that is what happens, what risk do you, as a buyer, run whenever you use a self-directed IRA company that doesn't, it isn't very right or very efficient at getting things done on a certain time. Again, this was a 45-day term. There should have been plenty of time because even Equity Trust, whom I had Matt Calhoun on the stream a few weeks ago, they're set up and start for their self-directed IRAs typically under 2 weeks. So this is just a great reminder. It matters who you work. Just like if you want to go and call up, your cousin's friend's brother or sister to help you sell a house that just got licensed, that's got 2 other full-time jobs, doing this as a side hustle. You're free to do that. You also have to understand that you might have some frustrations with that. All right. I tell people quick, you don't have to use me. I have no sense of duty from you. I don't expect people to call me. I love it when they do. Just want to be honest. I mean, that's a large part of what's allowed me to do over 700 deals in the past years. So that means that I've been out there. The only thing that, unfortunately. Uh, but if you put me up against somebody like that does maybe 1 deal a year, maybe 2 deals a year, like Mike Tyson fighting a baby. I hate to make it, well, actually, I don't hate to make it comparison. I don't mind it at all because they don't have the skill set to negotiate. They'll end up going and asking somebody else what to do. They're going to mess up on their paperwork. They don't have the systems in place. And well, that works out to mine and my clients. So if that's who you want to, bring to battle with you whenever you're in real estate, completely up to you. Seen it happen, and you know what? It doesn't always go bad. It does work. A lot of the times it doesn't. So with that being said, I want to just end that part with who you work with matters. And it matters a lot more than you think because also the reputation of the person representing matters. So, for example, we work a lot with investors that flip houses, and it's a small circle when you're dealing with a lot of these loan officers. So, as a buyer goes to buy one of the flips that I personally have done or that some of my clients have done, we're going to scrutinize who the loan officer because some of these loan officers, well, I'm just going to be honest, they couldn't close a door, much less a transaction. I just want you to understand that there are times we will discuss the loan officer, not necessarily the buyer. We're going to discuss the loan officer. Is this loan officer the type of person that know it's against? They just write a pre-qual, get people out there, get them under contract, never really looked at anything, and say that they're pre-approved when they never verified that. So after a while, those loan officers make your reputation. Just like over the years, I've made a reputation for myself of being a bit of a bull in a china shop. It's okay because I will fight for my client. And I don't care if you like me or not. At the end of the day, my fiduciary to my clients is one. But going back to it, we will discuss and I will share my experience with these sellers, and they're aware as well of what it's like to work with this agent or this agent, this loan officer. Are they going to be responsive? Or when the fit hits the shan, are they going to duck and be hard to get a hold of? All of a sudden they're in meetings. That's a big part. You want to watch for that kind of because you only get one reputation in this business. And if your name goes to mud, you might as well find something else. Go out there and do bottle service at a club or something. I don't know what to tell you. That being said, that was my rant for last week. So now let's go on back to what we're working on for this week. I'm going to pull up the MLS. We're going to look at a couple deals. Yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to be at an event and wouldn't have time to do this. Just like I've got some deals that would be going in for investor bids. Some of these REOs got some of these bids turned in. So let me close out the MLS here and I'll share my screen with you. So give me a second while I'm in here doing this. Give me some comments. Let me know that you guys are hearing me this time. Um, and if you if you know what I'm talking about how it is important to be careful about who you work with, let me know. Feel free to share any any issues you've had by working with the wrong person before. See, that should be go the window to the walls. There we go. Hey Brianna, how you doing? All right. I'm gonna zoom in on this. There we go. Let's look at the state of the market. Those are the areas that I flip houses. So yeah, we're going to look there. And if you want to ask you questions, let's jump on the stream and identify a couple properties. Because although I don't have high hopes at this, we're 512, and I need to close on some deals by 527. So I've got 15 days, which is 2 weeks and a day, to get this done. If I'm going to go to Vegas hate to say that I feel like I'm a little bit behind the eight ball. Yeah, running behind. I'd still need to close on 3 deals. Close on 3 deals. I've got offers out on 2. Now, I can close as quickly as 4 days. Anyway, let's see what we're looking at in the market right now. So our active listings in the market, we're looking at 1265 and sold in the last 30 days. It's 317. See, I like that because right now I know that's roughly 4 months, just under 4 months of inventory. So if we go over and open up the calculator, again, that's 1265. If somebody else wants to do the math and can do it before me, might send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. So see what you can come up with. Actually, why don't we do that? Anybody that's watching, you do the math. Again, it's 1,265 listings divided by 317 that have sold in the last 30 days. Put it in the chat, and first one to do it, well, I'll just get you a digital gift card and I'll buy your coffee tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to wait all night, so you got to hurry up and get there with it. And while you do that, I'm going to check out a few other things. Hey, all right. Well, Brianna, you got coffee tomorrow. I will actually just DM me your Cash App, and I'm just going to send it to you that way. So going into the deal, let's see. We've got 243 have sold, 1180 based on these conditions. Now, here's one of the things a lot of people, whoa, 937. That is not 1180. All right, so we're still looking good. If we go in and we look at the 937 and then the 243 that have sold, that's still 3.8 months of supply. So it's still a really good seller's market, which means that while sellers are spending a little bit of time on the market and they are giving some concessions, they're not just giving away the farm. So you're able to still get a deal. And no, you're spot on. It was 3.9. So let's see if we can find some properties that might make sense to purchase. Now, I've got an odd way of doing this, but feel free to stick around and watch and join me on this. Oh, all right. So, quick little fun tidbit. When you see something like this, right, you're looking at all the ones over here in the market. There's a little one outlier. Sometimes the MLS has these issues where they will map incorrectly, which means that if you go and say you search right here, right? So this one is 205. Now it's probably not going to be a flip for us, but 1658 Juniper. We'll look and see what kind of opportunity this one has. But the thing is, if you're going in and a lot of agents, whenever they're looking at some of these deals, they'll come in and select areas that their client identifies. So if you tell me that you only want, say, this area here, right? I'm going to go over here, down. And that's your area. That's where you want to be. You notice how it excluded every other listing out there, every other one. Now, this is roundabout some of the 7-11-18. That Juniper property, 1658 Juniper, will not show up in these search results. So therefore, whenever it's incorrectly mapped, you're going to have a lot of people that lose out. And unfortunately, you have a seller that is also losing out on getting their home sold because it isn't mapped correctly. Now, it's a simple fix. You would just submit it to the MLS and have it changed. But this one here, I need to let Chastity know because Chastity's good people. Y'all give me just a second while I text her. Now, this isn't going to be a flip for me, so it's not going to matter too much. But let's give Chastity some free publicity here. Cute house. It's 124 foot. That's not bad. It's in good condition. I mean, probably stand to paint the cabinets, but hey, look, let the buyer come in there and do that. Let that be their value add. I like that fridge. I like that appliance package. So if anybody that is a realtor, maybe looking at this, watching for them, and has a client in 71118, this might be one to jump on because it's right over here off of Kingston, off the loop. So give Chastity a shout. She might have a good deal for you. I'm just going to show her right quick what I'm referring to. Well, if I can do that correctly. All right. Now, let's get back to the task at hand. And also, if anybody has any questions, again, drop them in the chat. Let's talk about it. What can I do to help you find a flip or identify? We'll underwrite it. If you come in and you snake it from me, then you know what? More power to you. You get one. I would say that you could just give me a shout and we could work together. Or if you just want to try to snake a deal, then good on you. Let's see some areas that we want to that we want to try to flip in. Another thing, let me go in. I want to make sure I'm only looking for some single family. I want some square footage. That's better. Another thing I will let you know, if you go in here and you customize your search and you do put in here garage spaces, well, you're going to exclude a lot of really good potential homes. But again, I'm just really looking to identify some great deals, ones with garages. What are all these? Oh yeah, let's set the price point. I'm not trying to spend $1 million on these. Let's say that we're 220 and under. Hang on a second. Let me fix this. All right, we got Chastity taken care of. Oh, look, now I'm down to 14 matches. See, this is what I want to do. I want to be as effective as possible. Now, if I'm not getting enough search results, then I'll probably change it, right? So I might take away my requirement for the garage spaces. I might go a little bit smaller on the square footage. I might go a little bit older in years. And then that's going to open up other areas around Shreveport, which I would still flip. It's just if I can find lower hanging fruit elsewhere, that's where I'm going to go. Let's see. I don't see any of these that would just be an outright hard pass. I accept this one. No, I'm kidding. I don't know anything about this one, so let's look at it. All right. Either either this house has some foundation issues or it's just kind of a weird angle of the photo. Right here, you can see from the back, it's going to need a roof. All right, I hope that you can see that part from here. It's got aluminum windows, not a big deal, probably pretty common for the area. Looks to be a pretty clean flip. Let's see a sink or two and see if this is a REO. For anybody just watching out of boredom or curiosity, a REO is real estate owned, which means like a bank owned foreclosure. And this is the telltale sign of that. I believe I discussed that last week. When you see tape coming across the commodes and the sinks that it's been winterized, then you know. Okay, that's a good size shop too. Hmm. And you see the garage over here? Now, the only downside to me for this would be the proximity of it being by the street on Old Market or on North Market. 2,800 square feet, though. This thing's a beast. See how it's priced at only 75 a square foot? All right, Richard, I see that you've got this. And look at that. Sheriff's deed, 4125. Not in a flood zone, that's a plus. All right, so this one might be one that will open another tab because I don't want to lose my place. I've already got enough ADHD that I don't want to have to start over. So I'll just open a tab, run the address, see what kind of comps I can find. Okay. We've got some good closed. Let's see. Devereaux, so none of them are around Devereaux, but close by. 2,800. The largest one I see besides it is beside it is 821 Eds. Alexis, real quick, while I'm thinking about this, as far as identifying foundation issues, you look at cracks or look for cracks. Now, if it's a brick home, you'll see a lot of the times you're going to see settlement, right? Which is just going to be some vertical cracks around windows, doors, things like that. Now, if you start to see it get diagonal, pay attention. And if you see horizontal, really pay attention. But sometimes it's just settlement. Other times it does need to be evaluated. And that's something that while I would still earmark anywhere from five to ten, $15,000 in repairs, I would still get it scoped out during the inspection process. But don't let that stop you from, from making your offer. Hey, baby, if you're watching this, remind me what we tried to get 821 Eds for. I see that it closed for 70. Inspection report, Eds and inspection. Sorry, I'm just kind of being a little nosy. I see that somebody purchased this one here for 70,000, and I think they actually paid more than I was going to. The reason why I like to keep checking on this, right, is because a big part of these kind of things keeps me sharp on my numbers. Do I still know, where I'm at? And watching and seeing that somebody paid 70K for this. Um, I found some heavy repairs during the inspection, and I don't know if it was disclosed to this buyer or not, but I'm curious to see because they paid twice what I ended up having to offer because the rehab came in extremely heavy. The foundation repair, I want to say, was like 20, I said it was like 20 something $1,000 just for the foundation repair. We'll see. Whomever it is, I wish them luck because what's going to happen is they have a chance to set comps. And if they can set comps to make it a little bit more attractive, I think that this one's going to sit for a little while and could go pending tomorrow. Shit, don't let me, I don't know at all. It's only been on the market for 10 days, 11 days, so it's probably still in first look. First look, by the way, is when owner occupants, nonprofits, and government agencies get the first opportunity to come in and bid on a property. After a certain amount of time, then it opens up to investors. Prop offer. It's not saying anything. All right. So I guess you could make an offer on it tomorrow if you wanted to. My problem with this is if you go back and look, it's by far the largest home that has sold in the area or is active over in that area. And we're looking within half a mile. Now, if we expand it out to a mile, we're going to see a little bit more. There's one that's 2,200, but still one of the largest and 3,000. It's not even going to be in my on my radar. Nice home though. Besides the dated and the parquet. Hmm. It was listed for 131 a foot and is still active. Yeah, back on that house on Ed's offer was 63 before. 20K on that. Okay. And Connor, no, these properties right here, these are all MLS properties. But I would still go into the MLS if a wholesaler brought me a deal and I would run comps in the area for that. But yeah, so going back into this, it's a large home, which is great. It's attractive for buyers, but you're not going to get a tit for tat, so to speak, price per square foot as you would other homes. Now, being the larger home in the area, that's great, but you get a diminishing return, right? So let's say, for example, this one here on Edwards Tinsley, right, over on Old Mooringsport. It actually looks like there might have been some work done, or at least the exterior. Okay. You've got some cabinets that have appear to be refaced. You've got an island in there. They kind of busted down a wall. It looks like maybe took some lowers or some cabinetry out. Put up some nice doors. While it's probably not a color selection or color scheme that we would have went with, it's priced at $97. Priced at $97 a foot right now. And as we go in, let's say that it sells for $dollars a foot. Keep in mind that your your homes, the larger a home is, the less per square foot it typically will go for, unless you're in a luxury price point. Now, whenever you're into these kind of price points where it's not luxury, your smaller square foot homes will appraise for more per square foot. And then it kind of has diminishing returns as you get larger. So if we could see where this one at 2,400 square feet sells at even 100 a square foot, 2,800 being the largest in the neighborhood and everything else, you're probably going to see a small diminishing return on that on the appraisal, which you need to account for on your calculations for your after repair value. Because if you sit there and you hold true to that same appraisal price or expected appraisal price, and you base all your numbers, your offer, your repairs, and everything else on that, set yourself up for some disappointment. Just like here, this one over here on North Lakewood now, 61, that's an investor deal, 70, 80. All right, this one's closer, right? 860 Eds sold for 170, which let's go in. I'll show you the price per square foot. So it listed at 121. As we go down here at the bottom, it went for 121. This is what you would call a properly priced listing. We go in and we see, all right, is there a lot of value add? Well, I could see where I could update the cabinets. If I was to flip it, could I take the popcorn down? A few of these things. But all in all, it's not a bad home. So 121 a foot. The challenge with that is it's only 1,400 square feet. So do you think that in the same area that I could go with 2,800 square foot or 2,800 square foot, say 2838 and multiply that by the 121 that they got, that would be a $343,000 listing. Now, let's go back in and I'll justify this a little bit more with you. 4803, there we go. While it is a large home and it's a nice home, who here, you can put it in the chat, who here would pay, once it's been painted, updated, looks a little bit better, would you pay almost $350,000 for this home? And if you say yes, then let's look at what the market would give you for $350,000. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky and why I like to go hyper local. Because if somebody is going to buy a home for $350,000, would they do it in that specific location, or would they maybe go somewhere else, a little closer to town, a little closer to amenities that they like? And if they want to stay out in the country, well, what would that look like for them? So let's open up another one, and we're just going to do a search for 330 to 370. And just to try to get to be somewhat of a comparison, 2,000 plus square foot, primary residence, Louisiana. We'll leave it all. Total bedrooms, I think that was also a 3-2 fireplace, 2,800, 1989. So we'll also try to get the year built comparable. Takes us to 4 matches. Now check these out. I'm not saying that one place is better than the other. I'm just saying that subjectively, what are you going to go for? You can go over here to North Market, right? Up in this area. Or you can buy in South Bossier. You can buy Southern Hills. You can buy out there in Yarborough, Western Hills. You buy up in Benton, Houghton area. No, this is Bossier. I'm sorry. This is on Summit. You can have a pool. $340,000. You could have a pool. And look at the remodel. Not a bad home. I mean, a little farmhousey, but everybody's got their aesthetic, right? Beautiful cabinet or beautiful kitchen. Only thing I would do is I would go in there and I would clean up, take that scroll work out, and put another base there or something. So given this other house, now you have to visualize with me what's it look like once it's done. Would you take that for 340? Or would you take this one for 340 with a pool? So, and yes, Richard made, you're good, man. You made the next point for me. It's on a major roadway. So, I don't know. And that's why I get a little bit bearish on some of these comps when people start to throw these at me. Oh, it's got this. But a lot of people, they don't take into account, well, like what Richard just said. It's on a roadway. If you've got animals, if you've got children, you're going to have that concern. A lot of people do. So, what would make more sense for you? And that's also why, in the absence of value, right? In this sense, value is the amenities, the proximity to shopping, schools, anything else that's your preference. In the absence of value, price becomes the determining factor. And what I mean by that is if this doesn't have everything that you would want, I got to sweeten it with the price. I've got to make that price a lot more attractive. So, factoring in the diminishing return, knowing that I'm not going to get 121 a square foot, maybe 105. And I hate to say that because even then, that's optimistic, I feel. So let's just go ahead and run it out at 105. 105, 28, 38. That's still a $300,000 ARV. And I feel like that's optimistic. Now, you do have an acre with this, and the other ones are like quarter to halves. So you've got a little bit of land with it. Some of those factors, but let's just say, for example, that we decide to go with this. So that's 297,990 would be our ARV at 105 a square foot. Now, if we go with 0.7, which is going to be the formula for Mayo, maximum allowable offer, that means that I could offer $208,593 before repairs. And if we just go in here, 2,800 square feet, we're looking at 30 a foot. That's 85K. So 208 minus 85. My landed price on this to then pick it up to flip it. This is where I'm going to lose some of you guys. Is $123,000. That's my ARV. Or I'm sorry, that's not my ARV. That's my MAO, my maximum allowable offer. What are the chances they're going to come off $90,000 on this asking price? Not good, considering it's an REO, right? And banks have a certain way that they calculate these price reductions. They'll reduce the price or they'll establish the price, and then they wait 30 days, oftentimes 30 days. And then they do a price reduction. So if I come in and I'm like, hey guys, I got a cash offer for you, here it is. They're just going to reject my offer. And then they're going to wait for 30 days. And then they'll take another reduction. And then here I come again and I'm like, hey guys, got a cash offer for you. They'll reject it and then they'll wait 30 days and come back. Yeah, Alexis, I am. So I do use a 70 rule, which 0.70 minus repairs. Now, in other markets, like in Florida, where we have more inventory in this state than we do in the United States or any other state in the US, where I'm actually calculating at 0.65 to 0.6, just because I'm still projecting a little bit more correction. Yeah, good catch. But yeah, I'm at 123,000 on this, and that's just rough numbers. That's to get me in the door to pay for an inspection to get my contractor out there. These are all desktop underwriting. I'm just like, blah blah blah. This is where I have to be. But more often than not, knock on wood, I get told no a lot more than I get told yes. It's the yeses that book the wins, though, because whenever I go over here, if I'm too aggressive on my offers, and I just give away the farm on this, I get caught in an interest rate hike. I get caught in any of these market conditions that are kind of volatile, what's that do for my profit? It erodes it. And that's why I still go on percentages because I want to have a nice, healthy cushion. Because some people would say, as long as I'm making $20,000, I'd buy it. That's not me. I want to make sure that I've got enough cushion to handle the swings of the market because that's where people lose everything. I think I'm sure I've shared this story before, but our second flip, the first one made out really good. Our second flip was a manufactured home in Houghton, Louisiana. And this one, I ran comps. I was like, ooh, 145. Great. We picked it up. I want to say it was like, I think it was like $45,000. And we go over, we get the work done in there. And I learned a lot during that flip. So the value I got out of it wasn't just the profit. But that one to this day was the least amount of profit we've made on a flip, which was $5,000. Now, thankfully, again, knock on wood, we haven't taken a loss on a flip. We just are that cautious about what we do. I would rather miss the deal than make a bad one because I'm also thinking abundantly enough to think, all right, well, I've got enough people looking and bringing me deals that I can kind of cherry pick the good ones. And there are some deals that are still good. They're just not what I'm targeting. And those deals will wholesale out. I'll JV with people, help them get rid of them. But I'm not looking to get over here and lose money. I've got too many people that depend on me to go out here and get reckless. So, yeah, I would say that this one probably I would watch it for a while. It's too new on the market for the asset manager to come in there and say, well, yeah, go ahead and take it. Give it about 5 or 6 months and we'll see. Oh, there we go. Spoken like somebody that's been with me on the journey for the past 10 years. A lot of the times, the yes comes from the ones you least expect. I have been surprised by an asset manager before, right? So we've got one right now. They were asking, trying to remember, it was, I want to say over $100,000, and we're under contract, and it's REO, and we got it for like 78. We just had another price reduction from them, and I think that one's going to be a nice, tidy profit. We're projecting about 30K net on that deal, but the exposure is really low. We're looking at 120K between the purchase and the renovation, and we're going to list it out around, if I'm not mistaken, 175 or 180. It's right there. But after we net out, we should be good. And the cost of money, well, that's minimal because thankfully over the years we've been able to establish relationships where I've got private lenders in addition to my bank that will lend me money, and then there's some private lenders that I work with that want me to lend the money out on their behalf. So it's great to have that kind of network built out to where you can create the wins a little bit easier. But all that to say, I'm going to let everybody on this stream know tonight, you've got to find the method and the manner of buying that works for you. You can't just come over here and copycat me because, well, you're not me and I'm not you, respectfully. That's not me saying like I'm better by any means. That just means that I have a different threshold or a risk tolerance that other people might not have. And with that, I've got too many other projects going on to where I can get reckless over here. I have to keep everything tight. I have to keep it right in purchasing. I also live 1,100 miles away. So if my contractor, shits the bed and I've got to go over there and clean up and I've got to pick up a hammer again for the first time in years, it's not like it's a quick commute for me, right? So those are why I have to be so restrictive on my numbers. And I would encourage anybody else to do the same. You've got to find your buying method. But also, whenever you go out here and you're making your offers, when the time comes and you get that accepted, you've got to be ready to roll because that means that you've bought a deal. You bought a great deal, and it's time to take action on it. So let's see. What else do we have? I'm going to go ahead and plug this part right here. Feel free to go to the website, grab a copy of the book. In the book, it talks about Well, analyzing rentals, how to analyze flips, working with contractors, property management, and then some of the just BS that has happened over the years. That it's fun and it's entertaining now, and you'll be able to kind of just hear it firsthand. The stuff that we went through and the challenges. With that being said, if anybody else has any questions or comments, let's jump in, get that done because um, yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to do the stream tomorrow night, so it's going to be a busy day. But I'm also not going to just stay on here for the sake of stretching it to an hour stream. So if you have questions, I'm right here for you. And if not, then you know what? It's been awesome. I appreciate Alexis, Richard, Connor, Brianna, Catherine. Getting on here and engaging. Thank you because I think a lot of people they don't necessarily understand what the algorithm is and what Facebook does and YouTube and Instagram and how that really works. You see, whenever you engage with somebody's content, it's telling the machines at these different platforms that, hey, this is interesting. There's something about it that I like. And the more people that can do something as simple as a like, a share, a follow, a bookmark, a save, anything like that, that really does tell the algorithm, oh, this content's good. You know, so then the algorithm is going to push that out to more people. Initially, whenever I make a post or a stream or something like that, I might, out of 4,800 friends, it might go out in front of 50, 75 of them. And I promise you, not everybody that watches these streams or follows me or is connected with me on social media is into real estate. Some people, they just like looking at me because I'm pretty. It's okay. So it's really the memes. That's what a lot of people enjoy. So it's not the looks. But for those that actually go out here and engage with the content, it really matters more than you know, because that allows me to get the message out to other people, which in turn allows me to help other people continue to grow their wealth. So thank you for that. And it doesn't look like we've had any other questions come in. So it's a good time to end the stream. And again, I appreciate you all. I hope that you have a fantastic week. And if you do have any deals that come up, please run them by me. I'm more than happy to, if you're a realtor and it's off market, or if you're a realtor and you just brought me something that I wasn't aware of, you can have my commission. I'm not sitting here trying to be greedy. If you're a wholesaler, let's JV. If it's not a deal that fits for me, then I'll open it up to my buyer network. We'll see what we can do to dispo the property. Yeah, that's about it. So y'all have an amazing week. If you need anything, please reach out and have a great night.